Hey there, everybody. We're here in Bend, Oregon over at Chariot Bike, one of Bend's newest bike shops. We're going to get a shop tour from the owner, Julia, and learn about one of the new brands that they're carrying. It's a German brand called Chariot Bikes, which is new to me, and we'll learn more about it. So Julia, the name of the bike shop has a pretty interesting history. Can you tell us about it?
It is named after my grandma. Basically rode across the U.S. From New York to San Diego and set the record for women in 1948.
Wow.
And she called her bike the Chariot, and so I decided to name the shop after her bike.
Did you get a chance to nerd out with your grandma about bikes?
No, I wish.
No.
That would have been cool. She rode there the year before from San Diego, kind of took her time and worked along the way, met really fun people, and then, yeah, made it to New York, and then was kind of challenged to do the thing and set the record and stop in every town and get the mayor to sign off on it. And
so you're in this space now, but you've been working on bikes for a while, and it sounds like you had a van at one point?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still have the van, still do mobile. There's two of us at the shop now, and it's allowed us to do a lot more stuff with like classes and mobile, and also people coming in here and hanging out.
Right. Cool. Well, do you mind giving us a quick tour of the shop?
Sure, yeah. This is our bag wall of Oveja Negra and some Swift Industries and a few other brands kind of in there. Lots of bike packing stuff in the shop. And then kind of displays of just cool stuff that I like to stock products that I believe in and that I've tested also. I like to test a lot of products. Mm-hmm. And these are a few of the bikes from Sauer, the company that we're going to talk about from Germany. And then just kind of random products. This is a picture of my grandma and the trophy that she actually is holding right there. And then, yeah, we have some other frames just kind of hanging up throughout the shop. And other like memorabilia of Eric, who works at the shop as a photographer, and he has some cool stuff in the local like booklet here, and kind of some pictures of friends and the bike community on the wall. A lot of these are from like the Big Lonely, which the race is coming up this Friday. Other weird stuff, like I made this helmet years ago. It's made of wood. Dan Coyle in Corvallis makes these, and I helped him out for a bit, and I made my own.
What's the interior here? Is this like
cork?
Cork.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they laser etched cork, and yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, and then through here we have kind of room of Sauer bikes and other things. Also some music and extremely large speakers. Used to be in a band and band days.
Nice.
So, yeah, and then behind you is the workshop. And yeah, I've kind of dialed it in and built all of our own toolboards out. And this is where all the magic happens in here. Yeah.
So how many people work at the shop now?
There's two.
Just,
Yep. Me and Eric.
Cool.
And yeah, it's a good little shop.
Well, it's definitely a nicely curated shop. There's lots of interesting brands like Wolf Tooth, some of the Ergon stuff. I love the bike packing bags. I've noticed that there's all these vintage cameras kind of sprinkled around.
Yeah, I have a crazy collection from over the years, just buckets of old cameras that I love photography, and I shoot film still, and those all work. I just have to put film in them, and some of them do have film, so I just tape them shut. And I take pictures every once in a while.
Yeah. So in terms of bike brands, who are you stocking?
I have a couple brands right now. Sauer from Dresden, Germany is the steel frames that they have a lot of like bike packing specific bikes. And I also sell Otzo. Mm-hmm. Otzo bikes are also a lot of bike packing. Basically, the shop's a lot of bike packing stuff.
Right.
But a lot of steel frames and titanium and some carbon. And
let's talk about Chariot Bikes. What's this one?
So this is the Crumble, which is a 130 mil travel fork with a just kind of like the fun. We call it the shred packing. It's like the do-it-all speedy hardtail, and I don't know. I've been riding one for a while now, and it's just like the one I keep grabbing out of the garage and like, nope, that one's going to be fun. But yeah, it's kind of just a beautiful bike. This one we built up for the Maid show in Portland, and kind of picked out some parts that some of them represent Germany and other parts. Yeah.
What are the German parts?
Well, the brakes, Magura brakes, and then we had a bunch of other parts on there, but we had to swap it out for selling it.
So how do you guys discover or land or decide to sell sour?
So it was a random like internet friend of another bike shop, and they posted one of these bikes, and I was like, that thing's pretty. What is that? And then they're like, that's a sour. And then after that, I was like, I gotta see these things. And next thing you know, I'm talking to Chris over at Sour, and we're bringing them over and selling them in the U.S. So yeah, we're definitely their U.S. dealer. We have a lot of their bikes here.
Are they a fairly new company?
They are. They're around like 2019, so a
Okay.
similar time when I started. We're both kind of fresh in the, but they've been doing bike stuff for a long time and just started their own thing.
Do you have a sense of like how they equate to a North American brand that people might be familiar with?
Yeah, there would be, since they're steel frame, there's Chromag and there's Surly, and they're kind of like in between, like price wise, they're a little more than a Surly, but they're just like bunch of different beautiful details on them, a lot of cast parts on them, and kind of like integrated seat post clamp and
And the paint's really cool.
yeah, the paint. They do custom paint, and so you can get really creative, and it's not like crazy amounts to get custom paint done. Yeah, most of them I actually end up ordering are custom colors, and you do crazy fades or whatever you want, really.
Yeah. Do you bring in completes or do you just do frame up builds?
I bring in frames and then I build them up myself, and then or people just buy frames from the shop and build them if they have parts.
Okay, what's this one?
So this is called the Purple Haze. It's their monster gravel kind of do-it-all bike. And it's just designed to, you can fit pretty big tires, as you can see on there. And you can ride it on gravel roads, jump on some trails, and or load it up with bags and go out for a weekend, or race it around if you want. This one's special, also has another custom color. These cranks are actually from the same area in Dresden, Acto 5. They've got some cool stuff going on over around Dresden, Germany. And yeah, this bike's just a fun little speed machine.
It's got all like the adventure nipples like in the front.
Yeah. You can also get these like with custom braze-ons too if you want. I think that frame has some top tube bolts too, and then they also make these forks. They make a few different steel forks for different models of their different bikes, and then they're also doing some carbon forks too.
Cool. Are they manufacturing in Germany or in Taiwan?
The frames are all made in Dresden, Germany. They started in Taiwan, and then were able to bring everything over to Dresden, and now it's all made there.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's impressive.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And helps with like quality control and like turnover and all that.
Yeah. So in U.S. dollars, what's a frame set start at?
For this frame with a carbon fork is around $1,500.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
And then the crumble is $1,250.
Dang.
Yeah. So yeah, they're not crazy price. They're actually like
that's
they're
super
kind of known
reasonable.
for being reasonable, and then if you want like a custom color, that adds like I think like $180 on top, depending on what color you do. But
how much was it of a choice to carry like a really unique brand to bring something new to the Bend area, because there are so many bike shops? Is that like a conscious choice?
Yeah. I'm always a fan of steel, and then especially like well-made and like pretty bikes too. And so this is kind of like an area that wasn't really being touched in Bend, and like especially the bike packing and steel frames, and that was like kind of the point of like can bring in some other stuff that hasn't been seen.
Well, Julia, thanks so much for the tour. It's an awesome shop. I love the focus on bike packing. It's always cool to see that. Is there anything else you want people to know about the shop?
Basically, we like to party here.
And speaking of parties, they're actually hosting our meetup here in Bend. I might put up some footage if, depending on when I edit this. But thanks so much. Good luck with the shop. And if you guys are in Bend, definitely check out Chariot. A little tricky to find.
We're hidden.
Yeah, they're hidden. It's kind of like a bike speakeasy. But super rad. And as always, everybody, keep the supple side down.